Welcome to Furniture Industry News. I'm here with your update for Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025, covering the stories that matter most to furniture professionals. Let's start with what's happening in Washington because it's probably having a big impact on your bottom line. Last Friday, the U.S. Court of Appeals ruled that the president's decision to impose tariffs was unlawful. Now, before you get too excited, this ruling doesn't give immediate relief. The implementation of any order to stop these tariffs has been delayed until October 15th. That gives the administration time to appeal to the Supreme Court, which they probably will. What this means for you is that tariff rates that went into effect around August 7th are still in place. We're talking about some serious numbers here: 20% on Vietnam, 19% on Indonesia, Malaysia, Cambodia, and Thailand, 50% on India, and 20% on Taiwan. These are key countries where a lot of our furniture comes from, so these rates are hitting hard. And it gets more complicated. As of August 29th, the U.S. ended something called the de minimis exemption. This used to let shipments worth $800 or less enter the country without tariffs. That's gone now, and postal operators around the world have actually stopped shipping low-value goods to the U.S. until they figure out how to comply with the new rules. But here's what really has everyone on edge. There's an ongoing investigation into timber and lumber imports that could result in tariffs specifically on wood furniture. The president said on social media that this investigation will be done in about 50 days, which puts it right before High Point Market in October. Most pricing for market will already be set by then, based on current tariff rates. The big question is how much higher furniture-specific tariffs will go above what we're already seeing. All this uncertainty is creating real problems for an industry where margins are already tight. Many retailers are refusing to take price increases, which isn't realistic given what's happening with costs. And if retailers think price increases are tough now, they need to brace themselves for what's coming when those furniture-specific tariffs get announced. Speaking of consumer impact, the latest Consumer Confidence Index gives us a clear picture of how people are feeling about spending money. Consumer confidence dropped in August, falling 1.3 points to 97.4. What's really telling is that consumers are specifically worried about tariffs and their impact on prices. The conference board noted that references to tariffs increased and people are connecting them to concerns about higher prices. Here's what this means for furniture sales. While people are still buying cars, they're pulling back on other big-ticket items like TVs and computers. The report doesn't specifically mention furniture, but given that consumers aren't planning to buy homes at higher rates and they're being cautious about big purchases, furniture sales could definitely feel the squeeze in the coming months. The conference board also found that consumers are focusing more on necessities like groceries and less on discretionary services. They're chasing discounts and trying to buy goods before tariff increases hit. This suggests people are becoming more strategic about their spending, which could mean they'll wait longer to replace furniture or look harder for deals. Now let's talk about safety, because the Consumer Product Safety Commission just announced a recall that affects 3,500 chests sold on Amazon. These are Luliv 12-drawer dressers made by Changzhou Hengzhe Home Furnishing Company in China. They were sold between March and June of this year for between $90 and $100. The problem is these units are unstable if they're not anchored to the wall, creating a serious tip-over and entrapment hazard for children. No injuries have been reported yet, but these dressers violate the Sturdy Act requirements. That's the law that's supposed to stop unstable dressers from tipping over and hurting kids. This recall is a good reminder for everyone in the industry to keep checking with suppliers and factories that products comply with Sturdy Act requirements. If you're selling non-compliant products, you could end up with dangerous items on your floor and potential liability issues. Shifting to some major business news, we're seeing significant changes in the retail landscape. Bed Bath & Beyond rang the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange today, marking their latest corporate rebrand. This company has had quite a journey. It started as Overstock, then became Beyond Incorporated, and now it's officially Bed Bath & Beyond Incorporated again as of August 29th. Marcus Lemonis, who's the executive chairman, called this more than just a name change. He said it marks a new chapter of growth. The company now includes BedBathAndBeyond.com, physical Bed Bath & Beyond stores with more planned, BuyBuyBaby.com, Overstock.com, and other related brands. They're planning to open stores nationwide over the next 24 months, which could create new opportunities for furniture suppliers. But while one company is expanding, another major player is in serious trouble. Walker Edison, the e-commerce ready-to-assemble furniture company, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on August 28th. This is a big deal because Walker Edison had gross sales of about $124.6 million in 2024, but they're estimating liabilities between $100 million and $500 million. The company operates exclusively through e-commerce, selling about 90% of their products through 5 major platforms: Wayfair, Amazon, Walmart, Target, and Home Depot. Their products come mainly from suppliers in Asia and Brazil. What's particularly telling is that their CFO said the company has been trying to stabilize operations for years since the former owners and management essentially abandoned the company in 2020. There is some hope for Walker Edison, though. Twin Star International, a Florida-based furniture company, has agreed to buy substantially all of Walker Edison's assets for $20 million. This deal is designed to preserve employee jobs and keep Walker Edison's furniture lines going. It's a reminder of how challenging the current business environment is, even for companies with significant sales volume. And speaking of challenging times, we lost another longtime industry player. Knoll Furniture announced its closing after more than 50 years in business. This family-owned company from Hickory, North Carolina, was known for occasional and accent tables that fit modern living spaces. They operated with just 2 full-time employees but maintained a strong presence at High Point Market for decades. The company was run by siblings Aaron Williams and Nina Sadowski, who took over leadership in the 1990s. In their closing announcement, they talked about how the business was more than furniture. It was about relationships, trust, and community. They're still selling remaining inventory from their warehouse as they wind down operations. The closure of Knoll Furniture represents something we're seeing across the industry. Smaller, family-owned manufacturers facing increasing pressure from rising costs, supply chain challenges, and changing market conditions. It's particularly sad because these are often the companies that built personal relationships and provided the kind of customer service that made our industry special. All of these stories point to a furniture industry that's dealing with unprecedented challenges. Tariffs are creating cost pressures and uncertainty. Consumer confidence is shaky, and people are being more careful about big purchases. Safety regulations are getting stricter, which is good for consumers, but requires more attention from manufacturers and retailers. And the competitive landscape is shifting, with some companies expanding while others are struggling to survive. The key message for furniture professionals is that we're all in this together. Retailers who refuse to accept reasonable price increases and suppliers who try to pass all costs to customers aren't being realistic about current market conditions. Success is going to require partnerships and a willingness to work together to navigate these challenges. As we head toward High Point Market in October, these issues are going to be top of mind for everyone. Pricing decisions, new product launches, and business relationships are all being shaped by the uncertainty around tariffs and the broader economic environment. Stay informed, stay flexible, and remember that clear communication with your partners and customers is more important than ever. If you found this information helpful, please subscribe to Furniture Industry News to stay up to date with the stories that matter most to your business. We'll be back with more industry updates soon.